Welcome, and thank you for joining us for another beautifully blessed, peaceful, prosperous, productive, and phenomenally powerful night. We are your hosts, Tori the Barber, the one and only, the only one under the sun, and the man with the plan, my right-hand man, Freewheel Co.
What's happening, y'all? Freewheel Co in the building. Thank you and welcome to another edition of the Freewheel Podcast, where we create a community that inspires and empowers growth. You know, we're helping each other become the best versions of ourselves. What's happening, Tori? How you doing today, my boy?
What's happening? We in a building for another one. You dig?
Yes,
I feel good,
sir.
Cool. I feel good. We in the building. We made it. We live and proud. Yes, Lord. Thank God. How you feeling?
Yeah, bro. I'm feeling cool. You know, I ain't feeling the best, but you know, I just say that. I just say that to be real. Every day you don't feel like, you know what I'm saying, you're on the map.
Yeah.
It really about them days though, to be honest with you. Pushing through them days, you know what I'm saying, and making them days look like the better days, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I ain't mad at you.
Yes, sir. So what about you, man?
I agree with you. Every day gonna have his ups, every day gonna have his downs. I was just saying this to myself at some point today. I was riding and thinking, and I'm like, man, you know, you gonna have those. Ain't like we be fiending for like high moments. Like we want every waking moment to be a high, but it don't work like that. We're gonna have our ups and our downs. But overall, today was a pretty great, solid day for me today. No complaints coming from this way. You dig?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm grateful.
Telling people what you grateful for.
Listen, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have breath in my lungs.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the Almighty up above to keep that breath in my lungs. You know what I'm saying? To wake me up every morning. Allow me to go to sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? I'm so grateful for him. I'm grateful for my lady.
Yo.
Shout out to her. She the one. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to that boy too. You hear me? Was there with the boy. Shout out to my family. Man, listen, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have fingernails. And I'm grateful to have some. I got some shiny. Like my fingernails is nice. Look at that. Yeah. My daddy fingernails brown.
Damn.
I love you, Dad. Listen, my dad. But I got my mama's side. I got my mama's side of the hands. You know what I'm saying? I look like I don't get into much, but don't let that fool you. You heard me? What about you, man? What you grateful for today?
Well, you know, first thing first, our praises to the Most High.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord. Man, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful to be in the building again. In addition to that, man, I'm thankful for the general, my best friend. You know what I'm saying? I think one of Freewheel's, if not Freewheel, number one fan, number one supporter. I don't want to say fan. I don't want to make somebody say somebody a fan. You can't speak for everybody, but definitely a supporter. Man, I'm thankful for my friends, like you said, Cole. My friends, family, my kids, parents, just support system, support team. I'm thankful for my clients because I come on here every week as Tori the Barber, so it's only right that I put y'all on the stage. You did. I hope y'all cutting for me like I cut for y'all. God damn it. But nah, my clients show up, man. You know, they subscribe when I ask them to. You know what I'm saying? They support. When I ask them to, I drop a little product. I had a hair oil that I made, and you know, they support me, they patronize. So yeah, it's all love, man. My clients, they heavy duty stuff, man. So yeah, that's what I'm thankful for, Mr. Cole. I like that you pointed out your fingernails. A lot of people don't know this, but before we developed, you know, like knives and spears and all that other kind of stuff, and you know, today we get to take the luxury of using forks and spoons and stuff. Our fingernails was our first eating utensils. Our fingers and fingernails, you know, we used to use our fingernails to peel the fruit. You know what I'm saying? You got your oranges and different fruits like that. You get to peel them and all that kind of stuff. Like that was your first eating utensils. You know what I'm saying? So definitely thankful for my hands, because without my hands, man, I wouldn't be able to do what I do the way that I do it. Although
that's right.
I have seen a barber with no hands, and he do a damn good job.
Yeah.
So it ain't no excuse, but I'm glad I got mine. So
yes, sir. Sometimes I ain't gonna say that.
Sometimes less is more.
I'm gonna let that be what it be.
Yeah, but yeah, that's how that goes, Mr. Cole. It's about that time, though.
Yeah. let's drop that hit. You heard me? And let's give it a moment of silence for our brand new subscribers.
Yes,
and the
Lord.
ones that get post notifications. Yes, Lord.
Indeed.
Thank you for all the love and support. Thank you for the ones that's still here. Thank you for the ones that's new here. You know what I'm saying? Join a community of growth. You know, two young black men making it happen. You know what I'm saying? You know, through all our flaws, we still making it happen. We still moving despite anything. And this is a powerful community. I'm glad that you're here and stay here. Go ahead and subscribe and push that like button. Ooh. You feel me? Gotta do it. Go ahead and do it right now. You wasting time.
Come on now, we got a minute. That's why we give out a moment of silence so I can handle that business, you know?
Go ahead. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Listen. Yes, sir. Toad.
Without further ado.
Toad.
Let's drop that. Word on the street. Word on the street. Word on the street.
The lady Tillman, the Chicago woman whose steamy on-stage moment with Usher recently went viral, is setting the record straight. She is not married and is certainly not headed for divorce. The internet had been buzzing with rumors that a seductive serenade during the R&B superstar's live performance sparked a breakup with a supposed husband. But Tillman is calling it all fan fiction. This is completely false. I am single, Tillman said in a recent interview. I am a retired homeschool mom looking to expand the arts here and across the pond. I am single. You got a cherry. Give me a jingle. When he came around with those cherries, I said, well, life is a bowl of cherries. I'll take one, maybe two, she recalled with a laugh. Online, fans have affectionately dubbed her Auntie Cherry. Tillman, who serves as the global director of the Harold Washington Cultural Center in Chicago, said she locked right in with Usher and even pulled out a little Broadway flair during their brief interaction. He wasn't even supposed to stop where we were. It was like magnetic, and he smells like vacation, she said. First of all, y'all need to stop lying. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, I ate that story up, though. I ate that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like the other story better, goddammit.
The first one, huh?
Yeah, I like the other story better because, you know, whatever. But I would say it kind of takes the spiciness out of the story. Yeah. But I would say, what if that was your lady and she was married? We're gonna go there. We're gonna get it. We're gonna keep it spicy, huh?
Keep it spicy.
You know what I'm saying? Listen to me. That was my lady. She was definitely getting divorced. Matter of fact, she wasn't. It wasn't no be no home to come home to.
Oh, Lord, come on now, on now, cool.
Bump that. I'm just saying, bro. I don't have the. This is my thing. I don't have the. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity thing, right? I don't have that thing in my head to. This is Usher. This is, you know. I like a few women. Yeah. You know, Rihanna could come in my face and be like, listen, you can come live with me forever. I got the bread for you. I got out with your wildest dreams.
That's different, though. What if she wanted to feed you a cherry? You gonna keep it the same? You're not gonna make it no extreme. That lady wanna come up on the stage.
I'm just saying.
Your seat was chosen. Come up to the stage and see what's happening. You gonna go to the stage. She gonna pull out them cherries.
Listen, that's all it takes.
Whipped cream.
That's all it take.
Huh?
That's all it take. That's it.
So you're not going up there. So you're not going up there.
I'm not going up there.
All right.
I'm not going. That's the same, bro. That's the same as you know, you go to, because I don't even believe in going to the strip club thing. I don't do that either. You know, maybe I probably do it for. Listen, bro, I've been in a strip club 2 times. And one was with my daddy when he brought me when I was like 17 years old, and another one I walked in there with some partners. I don't really remember too much about that, but we was in and out. You know, for one, it don't faze me like that, but I just feel like there's no. We be trying to ask ourselves what's wrong with it instead of what's right with it. You know what I mean? Like, and it just keep it. I feel like we just, I don't know, man. Like, if you doing this, you doing this. There's no exceptions to the rule. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, just because it's this, it ain't cheating. Just because it's, if I went up there and I let, you think my girl gonna let me come home after Rihanna brought me up on stage and put that thing all over my face in front of millions of people?
Yeah.
Nah, she gonna be pissed off.
She gonna let you come home, dude.
She gonna be pissed off.
She gonna let you come home,
I'm just gonna come home, but I ain't sleeping in the bed. I'm sleeping in the front tonight.
Man, listen, that's my thoughts about the thing.
Yeah.
I feel the same goddamn way. Listen, you gonna go up there, cause guess what? The world might not know you, but the people who know me know you. So you ain't about to have me out here looking crazy, cause nigga said you was on the stage with Usher, and Usher was. Yeah, Kevin Gates had this chick on the stage. I don't know what we ain't talking about them. He done spit the lady mouth on the stage and everything. We is not playing these games. Come on, man. We not doing all that. You doing all that? That's single activity. I ain't gonna lie to you. Once in a lifetime chance or not, I hope it was worth it. I'm gonna leave it at that. But then some may say that's shallow. Man, come on, man. That's Usher. He just fed a cherry. He just a little Teach his own. I can see, but I'm gonna be fair though. I can see that. I don't. To be honest, I don't think. Listen, at the end of the day, look at it like this. Yeah. If your wife is going to pay $200-300 to watch another man perform, period. At least she get a little cherry or something. You know what I'm saying? Let her get a little cherry. It's cool. Everybody doing it, huh?
Hey, you know what's crazy though? I don't know if you seen the thing with T.I. and Tiny. And T.I. He went up to Tiny. She was like, nah. And T.I. was like, wait, it's good. And he did to Tiny. Now, in that perspective, I'm not gonna lie. I looked at him like, oh, he a real one. Like he know his yeah. So I wonder what's different about that. And when I say he know his yeah, I mean like he cool. Like he's not threatened by that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I guess he's comfortable within himself and his type of situation, which they wild anyway. If anybody know T.I. and Tiny, they know they wild. They get down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. Listen, I guess it just depends on the nature of your relationship. But what I was saying was, I wonder what was different about that to me. You know what I'm saying? Why would I but look at him and be like, yeah, I mean, shit, that, that's what's up.
Man, listen, I honestly, I see both ways. Like, I feel like on one end, I don't give a damn who it is. You committed to your husband. You shouldn't be playing and flaunting around with another man morally. We have this thing in the culture to where everybody got a price. Right. Most people have a price. So your price is just because they're a celebrity, you'll go play. Like, would you let any other random, attractive, charming person feed you cherries or play with you, grope you, lap dance on you? Mm-hmm. So it's like, what's your price? That's your price? That's your, you know what I'm saying? That's your exception? It ain't no different. That's really the point about it. I can understand that they're a celebrity and it's all this and all that, but at the same time, I don't see it at the same time. Like, it's still one and the same. It's still one and the same.
Yeah, man. I guess just come down to your understanding in your relationship. You know what I'm saying? And what you cool with and what you ain't
what you cool with and what you not. Now, if I got to understand it, y'all got to understand it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. More power to you.
That. I tell you one thing. Kiki Palmer, old man, wasn't playing that.
He wasn't playing that at all.
You see, bump that. That's some bull crap.
Now that's very interesting. I don't want to drag this thing out, but it's very interesting because, well, she is a performer, but it ain't like she was getting paid to do that. She willingly went up there and did that. But people like, man, it's Keke Palmer, it's Usher, like they was doing their thing together, and you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Does that make it any different?
Right.
Because of who they was, they both were celebrities? I don't know. Anyways, let's move on.
It don't.
Let's move on.
It's like doing it on camera and doing it off camera.
I don't know.
If the camera was on. You know what I'm saying? That's it. But yeah,
what we talking about today, Mr. Cole?
Today we gonna be diving into our toolbox and seeing what we have to use. And just talking about something that we may often look over as a tool to use, in which I believe is one of the most powerful tools, which is love.
Not gonna knock it.
It's love, man.
Love.
You know, I will argue with you to the end of the earth that love is the most powerful source that humans can wield on earth. You know?
Let me get that.
I think so. Let me say this first. I think we think about love as like the romantic kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like you in love with your girl, you know, whatever. But let's kind of back out from that and look at it as a like a force, you know, and a transformative force, right? You know, it's like it's something that I don't know. It's like a attitude. Let's put it like that, you know. Because I was trying to talk to Tor about this earlier, and I was thinking about how I can change the perspective. But it's actually an attitude, right? It's an attitude. It's a perspective, and it's actually a surrender. You know what I'm saying? And it is the most powerful. I don't think hate can beat it. I don't think the devil could beat it. You know, the I don't think Laricka could beat it. You know what I'm saying? You know, what you think about that, too? What comes to mind when you think about that?
Well, me hearing that, I feel like, okay, what can beat love? What can outdo love? I think you might be on to something. You know, I think love is the most powerful out of all those things that you mentioned, but love can sometimes be the hardest one to, you know, to display. You know, it's easy to hate. You know, it's easy to get mad and get angry and operate from a place of that. It's easy to be spiteful. It's easy to get in your feelings and, like, you know, exhibit, you know, your actions from that standpoint. But when you think about love and letting love heal the wounds, it's a lot of stuff that gotta happen before you leave with love. So I think love is very, very, very powerful, but I think sometimes it can get tricky. Yeah.
You know, we look at it as being, in our culture, I would say, we look at that as being soft and weak. Like, man, you don't go up in there and show them people what you made of. You know, like, why you think in our culture is just looked upon as like just being soft or just letting people run or however, you know, the many things that they say about, you know.
Well, I think it's because love, man, it's tough. Like I said, love, sometimes it seems like love don't get you nowhere. It seems like being nice don't get you nowhere. It's like you gotta go in there, you gotta be the man, you gotta be the woman, you gotta step on who you gotta step on, you gotta make it happen. It's me and it's me first. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, and some of us just come from those cultures to where, you know, it had to be that. It had to be all or nothing. You know what I'm saying? We had to have that attitude of just being hard. Even in the culture, like growing up, it wasn't cool to be the soft, compassionate when you had to show people that you wasn't to be played with, you know? So we adapted that attitude in different ways. So I think it's a lot of different reasons for it. But what are some of the reasons you think we, in our culture, we kind of naturally lead like that?
Yeah, I think for me it was the response. There was a time in my life where I think maybe I started, because my mom always implanted a great deal of love inside of me. And that's why I can possess the kind of empathy that I do. But when I got in school and just got around a whole bunch of other different children, you know, they didn't really respond to it as well as everybody else in my family did. You know, it wasn't until I started responding with the attitude of you gotta earn respect to give respect, was when I feel like people started to respect me. You know,
you have to earn respect to get respect.
Yeah, you gotta earn it from me.
Oh, they gotta earn it from you.
Yeah, they gotta earn it from me. You know, in order for me to respect you, you gotta straight up like put in the application. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, and that was the culture around the thing. You know, people kind of looked up to people who was like rambunctious and like, don't mess with them because they don't play. Like that was the status, or they like how much they don't play versus the person who play too much. You know what I'm saying, or who could be played with. And I fell into that, man. I fell into that to where, I used to say every year I get in a fight because every year somebody play with me. When every year I was looking for somebody to play with me, so I was getting into fights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, I wasn't getting me nowhere. And I think that's why I really possessed that at that time, just as a way to survive. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that. I get it, cause I mean, I witnessed that like in high school. They got, like, to what you said, they got the ones that do the bullying, the ones who can't be who quiet, but you can't play with them because they're gonna crack off on you. You got the ones who let people play with them. You got a little bit of everything. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So let's talk about like, because I think I'm one of the, rare, not to really boast or blow my horn or anything. Like, I think I'm one of the rare. I think I'm one of the rare people in the world that has love in their foundation. Like I have, like my mama put so much love into me when I was smaller. Like she even went against my daddy for me at times. You know what I'm saying? To where I felt like she was the only one in my corner. And it was just always, hey, no matter what was going on, hey, here's this. Hey, I love you still. Hey, here's a kiss. No matter what we was going through. You know what I'm saying? Not, like how me and my brother was, we ain't talking. You know what I mean? Or we wouldn't talk for a couple of days or whatever. And I think you got to look at that, like what is in your foundation, and we talk about this. We're probably going to be really controversial too, but we were talking about earlier, like there's a thin line between love and hate. It goes both ways, but let's talk about how there's a thin line. That's the only thing in the middle is a thin line, so there's no hybrid. There's no little bit of love, a little bit of hate. God looks at it like it's either or, like you're gonna go in this thing and you're gonna approach it with sincerity, with compassion, with understanding, or you're gonna go up in there like, I'm walking out with this and I don't care about what nobody think about it. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Which in this world you can get fought with that though. And it's crazy because you have to use it sometimes. Like that's like, give me a situation too where there's a time where, or in the society now you could use hate instead of love and still get where you need to go.
I don't know what, to be honest. I know, say for instance, like in the social media world that we got going on, a lot of people use that in the culture. Hate, is drama, is messiness, is slander. But I don't think they're gonna get as far as they would hope to get. Honestly, I don't think that's gonna actually get you to the championship. But yeah, they got some people in the world that try to use hate in different ways, in various ways, and it's not, they don't operate from and hate ain't always like, being vulgar or nothing like that, but it's just being misleading. It's that could be selling somebody a product that's harmful and that's cancerous, and it, but you're still selling it for a profit, stuff like that. So I think in the long run, the truth always kind of come out and show, and I think that's how that end up turning out in the end.
Yeah, you're right too, man. A lot of people think that the obvious, blatantly in your face hates are the only ones, instead of the underhanded stuff that people do all the time,
Yeah.
And I think that stuff stems from a level of the lack of experience with loving yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because I can always put myself in certain shoes and change my perspective.
Okay. You personally, that's something that you can
do. I can always personally put myself in somebody else's shoes, and I can I can get a certain perspective that'll build something in me that's like, I'm not gonna do that because I wouldn't want that done to me. And I've had stuff done to me, right? So I know the feeling associated with the experience. So I think a lot of people just don't have that. Either a lot of stuff didn't happen to them, or they wasn't held accountable for a lot of stuff. And they or they'll do the same thing to themselves, which is a big thing. Like, I don't, we do underhanded stuff to ourselves. We don't take care of ourselves for real. Even like on the obvious tip, like the stuff that we eat, like you just eating greasy stuff all day, every day. Like you tearing your body up.
Yeah.
And you're not worried about it because it's not in your face. You ain't get cooked yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The water ain't hot yet. So, that is one of the biggest. I think that's one of the first foundations that needs to start. That frees us from a certain level of frustration, and lack of understanding. Like, you gotta love yourself. You gotta figure out how to love yourself, man. You gotta figure out how to.
So can I share this perspective with you? Because I'm kind of, I'm battling with that idea, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Something I was kind of talking about earlier, too, that's very remnant of this conversation is like, like you say, learn to love yourself first. Because some people can't love other people because they don't know how to love themselves. But some people give, but they don't get in return. And that put them in like a depressed state. So what do you think about from that perspective, like people who lead with their heart?
Yeah.
They lead with their heart regardless, but then they get hurt. And then they like messed up because of that, because they're not getting back what they put out.
Yeah. I think there's still a form of, I think that's still a symbol that you lack self-love. Because of the lack of boundaries. Because of the lack of boundaries that you have, and you could say you're leading with your heart, but you're really leading with your voice, because you're trying to, you're doing all this stuff to really fill a void in yourself. I was listening to a guy talking, and a lady, she was like, I always wind up with these men who have issues, and I try to fix the issue, but then it winds up, and it's always me trying to fix the issue, and I get nothing in return, right? And he asked her, he's like, well, why do you feel like you need to do that? And she was like, because I know how that feels to go through that, and I don't want anybody else to go through it, right? So and he's like, so basically what you're doing is you are trying to fill voids to fill your own void. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing that you're chasing. Instead of finding somebody else whole that's gonna help you become whole. Like you just really focused on the void part. So I think it's still us not. You still not loving ourselves there. Because if you really loved yourself, you would get away from that people who got that issue in the first, all together.
Yeah. Crazy thing is, I was talking to the conversation that I was having earlier. I was talking to my man, and he was talking about how, he was lacking a lot of things, as a kid. Like he had his own pain and his own hurt, but instead of him tending to himself, he found people who was hurt in similar ways like he was hurt, and he made it his obligation to help them and heal and help them heal and just be there for them in their pain, places. Like that, to where they was hurt in the same ways that he was hurt. Like he could give them the advice, he could be there for them, comfort them in different ways. And I asked him, I said, but why do you think for you it was so easy for you to be there for everybody else, but it wasn't like you couldn't give that same energy to yourself? Like you couldn't be there for yourself, And his thing was, I think he said, he didn't, I don't know, I feel like a part of it was he didn't think that he was worth fixing, and he wasn't ready to face himself. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of growing up, everybody telling him around him that everything that he did was wrong. I guess he tried to make a right out of helping other people with what they told him was wrong about him. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So he was like the last person that he turned around and came to help. So
Yep. And we don't use love with ourselves, because if we were using love with ourselves, it would not be self-criticism. it'll be self-compassion. You know, it wouldn't be, hey, bro, you messing up. Hey, instead it'll be, hey, I noticed that, you know, we weren't performing in this area. You know, I applaud you for trying. Let's go back to the drawing board and make it happen. You know, and figure out how to do it, right? You know, we think that, oh, nah, you gotta be hard on them. You gotta be, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be real with yourself. You gotta take accountability. But accountability just looks like acknowledgement. You know?
Yeah.
Accountability doesn't look like, man, I messed up, bro. Man, I messed up. Like, you focusing too much on that. You know, when you're doing that, you're not practicing self-love. You can take accountability and still love yourself while you're taking that accountability. Like, talk to yourself better. If you talk to yourself better, you can talk to other people better. You know, we talk to ourselves with sarcasm. You know, like, I guess you tried. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, you'll never do that again. You know what I mean? Like you be talking to yourself bad, and you talk to other people like that, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how you'll realize your interactions with people it's different. You know, it's never how it may look for somebody else. You know, who has, like, I think everybody knows. Well, if you know somebody who just, like, they never on bad terms with anybody, they just kind of always just the smooth talking, the smooth going. 9 times out of 10, I say that person has found how to wield the tool of love with themselves and with other people. You know, and you start there first, though. You know, you start there first. Like, how do I talk to myself? Just look at all the language, the stuff, the way that I'm speaking to me, and how I feel after I speak to me. Like, you know, I got this thing where, you know, I always talk about that identity of being alone. And that's this feeling I get in my chest when I feel it. It's like a sinking, kind of like I can sink into it, you know. I can activate it when I listen to the T-Lanes. I can activate it when it's like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, that identity, man, what was I going? What did I say before that? So I was sinking to that feeling and just be, I don't know, man. It's like, I haven't done, you know, we still doing the work in that area, but, you just have to know how you have to know when you're triggering that feeling, and you got to go up against that. You know, you got to go up against that feeling of, hey, I'm feeling horrible right now, instead of, hey, I'm usually feeling horrible. You know, talk to yourself.
Yeah.
Figure that out. You know, people don't like to do stuff like that.
That's an important tool to use, honestly. You know, like that self-talk, and a lot of times we don't have that. We be hard, man. We be our own worst critics, but it ain't always our fault, because, you know, like I said with the conversation I had earlier, you know, he was kind of seemed like he was taught to treat himself that way. You know, we kind of take on that kind of the way that we handle ourselves. We handle ourselves based off of the way that we was treated. Did people take time out for us? Did we have people to be patient with us? No. So if that's the case, a lot of times people, for that reason alone, they're not patient with themselves. They're not patient with nobody else. You know, they frustrated all the time, and you know, it take time. It take time to realize those things. You know what I'm saying? Because that go into a lot of that go into your experience that you're gonna have in a lot of ways that people gonna experience you. You know. But I'm just go ahead. It sound like you're about to say something.
Yeah, that's big, man. The way that you treat yourself based on, like, you gotta be a perfectionist. You gotta be a perfectionist. You know, sometimes, like, oh man, why I ain't get that right? Oh man, why you know? And that's something I do till to this day. You know, like even in my pursuit of being better and wielding love, like I had to be. Like I had to be like this, but I still realized I still wasn't okay with I'm still not okay sometimes when I lead with love and the world around me doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I have to, like, when I'm doing it, I'm able to take accountability and put my flaws out there with grace, but other people may not take it as grace, you know? Or they may not be putting their flaws out there, so it's just kind of looking like all the time I always got some flaws going on. So I still look at that, and I sometimes I believe it. I get into it. I'm like, man, I'm always doing something wrong. I'm always messed up, right? And so I have to stay grounded in, like, you gotta have a source. Like, when any of these powers, like, you know, like ET said, like, the iPhone is amazing. It's fire, right? Do whatever. You still gotta put it on a charge at night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got the powers, the tools you use, and you gotta go charge them things up. You gotta charge your love up. You know? So you can't be like, I tried it and I just got fed up. You most likely you probably got fed up because you didn't go back and charge. Especially if you like if you have that perspective you have, you need to be charging up a lot then. And especially, like, if that's what you want to do, like, I want to be that person though too. I want to be that person that just spreads the different perspective. Like, I want everybody to know that you don't gotta be arguing all the time. You know, like, you don't have to approach somebody and be on bad terms, and you don't have to approach them and be like, you know, with the be on the other type of time. Like, you could literally approach somebody and have a civil conversation about anything.
Where does this start, man?
I think you gotta have grace, man. You gotta have grace. You gotta have grace for. And if we're specifically talking about, dealing with other people, you know, you gotta have grace. One, for you, you know, and you gotta have grace for the other person, and you gotta have grace for the problem.
Yeah.
You know, because either one of those you can get frustrated with and focus on too much.
Yeah.
You know, because when we're going about this thing like we're supposed to, all we need to be going for is the solution. You know.
So my thing is, what it is, how do we make it look sexy? Right, because I think that's the part about it that is why it's so hard for people to kind of come into it. Because I'm thinking about, like, the thugs on the street. You know what I'm saying? He living hard body. You know what I'm saying? He tough. He don't have no feelings. He whatever. You know, how do you, not necessarily you, but just how do that person get the message? How can we relate the message to that person who? That's just not a part of it, you know what I'm saying? To where, like, in his environment, he can't have that element. He can't act and display out of that element because that make him look weak or vulnerable. You know, and that's an extreme example, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I understand it ain't all on us or per se, but it's like they gotta wanna be better too. But at the same time, man, like, there have been times where I was, like, misguided, or I was in my thoughts. I felt self-righteous and I was wrong. But although I wasn't looking for a different perspective, I did receive a different perspective to open up my mind, you know? And, like, for people who living like that, who don't have that as a tool or something to consider or a part of their foundation, like, how do we get that message to them?
Yeah. I think the first thing that comes to mind is one of the principles I believe for love is giving first. You know, like, just that's what it is. Like, you just, you know, you not expecting nothing in return. You're not whatever. No matter what's going on, I'm gonna give this to you. And I think in order to disarm somebody like that first, you got to give them something. And you may have to give them understanding. You might have to give them relatability. You know, because you know, if I'm talking to somebody and he feel like you don't know nothing about me, you don't know where I come from, you don't know, you know, you're not understanding. I have to come to your level. I gotta go down there with you. You know, I gotta come to you. I gotta give you that. I give you my presence and give you my full attention. I gotta give you my
love.
You know what I'm saying?
First.
I gotta give you my love, right? I like, hey, bro, I feel that makes sense. I would have smoked them too. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but like I would have felt like
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and then but then like so you go there, and then you go somewhere else. You know, don't try to just straight up, you know what I'm saying, go where you trying to go, because you can't get nothing like that. You know, that's so one of the principles is to give first, and I think that works every time. Even when you're in a you talk having a conversation with somebody, first thing you do is, hey, first thing I want to do is apologize for my part. First thing I want to do, I'm sorry, but I did this. I'm sorry about that, and that. And I could have done better here. And then you go wherever you go after that, you know. Now there's a transition part, you know what I'm saying? The transition could be tricky, you know, like how you get from the transition of where you were to getting over to the other side, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know, I did that, you know, and I think some of my problems and issue with you was, you know what I'm saying? That stuff takes skill though. I think I had to learn that. Man, I had to learn that.
You just said it all that takes skill. I think in order to, and this is just me thinking, this is not coming from somebody with all the answers. Yeah. But I truly think in order to properly love, it takes a lot to do that. Like it, I feel like you almost gotta get trained to love. Like you gotta be trained to love, you know, because there's a lot of stuff that go into love. You know, like even the compassion, like there's different elements to love. You know what I'm saying? Like the unspokens. You know, you got the compassion. You know, you got the patience. You got the empathy. You have the understanding. That's a big part of love because, like, without understanding, you have confusion. With confusion, you have, you know, disruption. You got anger. You got, you know, fear-based logic. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of components to love. So although we supposed to be operating from a place of love, like, I think the first step is like figuring out what are the compartments of love. Because we might be good with the giving. Like, I'm a selfless person. I give. But I give so much, I don't leave enough for myself. Or I give so much that I, you know what I'm saying, I end up hurting myself in the end of the day. Because like you said earlier, that lack of boundary with somebody who's like over giving, you know. So it's just like, do you start with learning how to love yourself first? Because you got some people in situations where they just, they giving. They trying to focus on how to love somebody else better, but like, did they put that time into figuring out how to love themselves better? And what does really loving me look like? Like, what does really? How do? And that's another thing. I'm about to go off. No, I ain't about to go off. But it just made me. It's like one thought going to another. It's just like. But then again, a lot of times we expect love from people, but we don't know how to love ourselves, or we don't know how we need to be loved. Yeah. So that's just something else that I just thought about.
We're missing a major component though, man, that just hit me. The first person you gotta love is God. You gotta love God because only He can fulfill you how you need to be fulfilled. And the way that He fulfills you for my people who not as close to God like that is His promises that He makes, that He has in His Word. Right? You fulfill those, you love Him, fulfill those promises, and He'll fulfill you. You know, and that is your source. You know, I say put yourself on a charger. You need to give yourself and surrender to God. Like, surrender all your issues, your voice to Him. He'll show you how to do everything else. You know what I mean? And that's like, that's really the only way that you can take on this world by yourself, if you feel like you by yourself, you know, and start to create communities afterwards. You know, like, you ain't about to do this by yourself, bro. You think you about to sit up here and take your mama who ain't never called nobody first after they had an argument, your auntie who you know, don't mess with nobody, stay in the country, don't call nobody. You think you about to take your whole family who deals with hate, with whatever other powers and tools they use, and you think you about to change everything by yourself, which on your own accord, it's not gonna work like that. You're gonna need something as powerful as God on your side. You know what I mean?
Because if not seeing it for myself, I've even heard stories of you need God, you need that element of God, because you could be dealing with a person and it feel like a hopeless situation, and then you add a little God in it. You know what I'm saying? And attitudes start to change, mindsets start to change, and just dynamics start to change. And I'm not gonna lie, like having a situation where I feel like it was all on me and I can't control what another person do. So why should I even try if I see that this is what's to be expected? But you never know. Just put that element of God in it before everything you do, and then you take the next step. That's the first step, and then you take the next step, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yeah, man. I was just talking to India the other day, and I'm aware of where I am in my self-love journey, and of course I'm never where I want to be at with it. But I think I can be better in my efforts in loving myself more, like maybe in the morning doing affirmations, praying more, God help me see my worth, help me see my accomplishments, my abundance that I already have in myself, my intelligence and the gifts that you've given me. Lord, help me see that, and after you help me see, Lord, help me to remember this every day. And to use it every day, and help me become a master at it so I can then give it to the world. And that's just something that needs to be done every day. It got to become a habit, just like everything we talk about on here. If you're not taking this stuff and creating habits from it, it's like it's useless. We like to go up, we like to watch stuff, we like to do this, we need to, we like to attend this seminar or whatever. If you're not actively writing down, and a lot of people are going like this, my girl be getting mad at me because we be in church sometimes and we looking at something, and I'm like, where your notes at? She's like, I'm listening. That ain't enough. Like you need to have action, and listening is, is listening to action. You have to I guess you got to actively listen to actually retain information, but in order to create a habit, you have to have massive action. I'm gonna say that. You have massive action, which you gotta be able to create this thing. You gotta be able to take this and put it in
some type of practical formation. Yeah. I'm not gonna knock that, because there's something that me myself, that's something that I can say I don't do. Like, I'm not a note taker in church. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be listening. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna tune in. But I have taken those before. You know what I'm saying? I've seen you take notes. I've seen you really do it. But I think maybe that is an element that I need to, but I guess I don't do it because truthfully, I don't really truly have the intent to go study. I'll take it down and say I took them notes. But if I know that this is a good chance that I'm not about to go study it, I'm probably just not gonna write it down. But if that's my thing to study later, to really deep dive study, then it'll make sense. Then maybe I would do it. But I guess that's just something that I need to consider. Listen. I'm gonna take it. I got to taking the notes. I take the notes. I do. Every time I go to church, I take the notes. Ask me how many times I went back to look at the notes that I took, though. How many times have you went back to look at the notes that you took?
Listen, that was the purpose of the question.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you gotta be serious about it, man. But I won't give some practical, real life stuff. And I know you have experience with some of the stuff I'm about to mention, but a love is also a surrender, Surrender meaning you surrendering your feelings, the way you feel about something, surrendering your ways of dealing with stuff, surrendering your voids, you just surrendering. You go up to somebody, you listen, I just wanna, you want a relationship with your daddy. Hey, Pops, I just want a relationship with you. That's it. Listen, I'm not worried about whatever happened, whatever. I want to be able to work through it, but I don't want to fight with you no more. You know what I'm saying? Hey, my mom, hey mom, I love you. Your sister, hey sister, listen, I want to love you. I want to have that with you. You know, you got baby mama. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it went bad. You're right, and I played a major part in that. You know what I'm saying? But it's time to resolve this thing, and it's time for us to be on better terms. We too old for this, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. So if you're willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen, like I'm with that. I promise you. I'll put. You could call me. Listen, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be resolved in that first instance. 10 times out of 10, about 3 times you use love, something gonna change. Something gonna change. Like you cannot defeat love or hate. Like you will lose. Like they don't have too much. They don't have like you're gonna look stupid. You sitting up there, somebody just talking to you real smooth and kind and with love, and you up in there yelling at them. You're gonna look dumb.
You're gonna look crazy.
And you're gonna run out of energy though. Love is so abundant that it'll feed you rather than take away from you.
Let me tell you something though. That's real spell. And you can't, and I don't think it's wise to pay hatred with hatred. You know, having that love component is extremely important. And a good analogy I wanna use, right? Like Cole said, like you'll look stupid if somebody talking to you with compassion and talking to you nice, and then you just flashing out and going off. A wise man once said though, he said, if you hanging out with clowns and you're a part of the circus, which means when you repay hatred for hatred. Now this is what I'm making it mean. When you repay hatred for hatred, both of y'all some clowns and y'all in a circus together.
And ain't nothing going on.
Ain't nothing getting resolved.
And
y'all
everybody,
y'all just two fools. You see what I'm saying?
Everybody watching the circus too, and they putting out their phones to record.
Everybody watching the circus and recording and getting and eating their popcorn. You know, so, but look, you know, truthfully, that's easier said than done, because it's a lot of things that gotta. Listen, it's a lot of things that gotta get taken care of before we can. For a lot of people, before we can really like get to that love place. I don't think it's a far journey, and I think, you know, the journey of love may just start with a few minor steps, a subtle mindset shift. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no drastic change, but I just think that it's some work that gotta get done. It's a lot that need to get let go. It's some walking. You gotta do some walking backwards. There's some forgiving you gotta do with yourself. It's a lot of work that's gonna have to get done, but I think the whole point of this conversation is that love is the key. I had somebody tell me that my older cousin and we was talking about my family dynamic, and I'm like, dog, I'm done with them. Like, I don't, like, it ain't, they is who they is, and like, what you want me to do with that? You gotta love them. You gotta love them. I love you, but what you want me to, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But you gotta love them, cuz that's your family. I don't know. I'm still scratching my head on that one. Cause, you know, what do I get, and this might sound really crazy, this is really how I feel. What do I get out of putting myself on a limb for them? Might sound very selfish, but like, meet me in the middle of something. Take action to show me that you trying to be better. But if you just gonna be how you gonna be, I'm not about to entertain that. Now I can love you from a distance though, right? Am I wrong for that?
Can you really?
Yes, I think I can.
So how do you? Because I think love is action, right? I don't think love is just like you know, what I would be willing to do. Like I save you. Like I think we be thinking that's love, but I think love is more of an action. What do you think about that?
I think love is action. It's like they said, love is an action word. I think love is action, you know, but don't know, man. You gotta just it's I get how where I'm speaking from, maybe from a place of like unforgiveness. Yeah, unforgiveness. You know, to where I might still be holding on to some things, and I'm just like, listen, if you ain't trying to give it the program, then you got to go about your business. You know, so
and that's the biggest thing right there, though. You know, we think that we kind of block stuff out, we cut stuff off, but when you do that, that's actually a piece of you that you cut off. You know, we got that's a blockage there. You know, and you actually free yourself up. You actually free yourself up when you free that piece of your life up.
Listen,
you know what I mean? Like when somebody could talk about moms and you don't feel anxiety, you could freely talk to your mom, and when the phone ring, you don't gotta feel no type of way, and you know what I mean? Like you got pieces of related, like especially in the work that we do, there's we may need to pull from that area, and we can't pull from that area because we ain't resolved it yet. You know, there's a chain there. There's a lock in the chain there, and it ultimately, if you like a selfish person, you like, I'm not gonna do that for them, you ultimately should do it to release yourself. Same thing with the forgiveness tip.
So what do you do with that? Okay, I do what to release myself. I release myself, then what?
Because it's not really a one-time thing. Actually, it's an identity. You know, it's really not it's not what you need to do, it's who you need to become, right? So if I need to become somebody who resolves conflicts, because the standard is, check him out. The standard is we need to be on terms where there's no tension there at all. Mm-hmm. That's the standard. Like in any of my situations of any area of my life, there's no tension because I actively go there and resolve it. Because how I do anything is how I do everything. So if I'm not resolving that, 9 times out of 10, there's something else that I'm not resolving. You know, because that's part of my character. Like I can't say I go and resolve issues and I still got an issue with my mama. No matter how hard it is, no matter how hard it is, no matter how much it may not even be my fault, or how much I may not think is my fault, you know what I'm saying, or how much I may not think is my responsibility, but I'm my responsibility, and since I'm my responsibility, you know, then it's my responsibility. And let's not talk about, we got kids, you know, you're gonna teach them if you got an issue, then just cut them off,
you know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just,
you know what? Look, if I can interject, Cole, you remember when you said, like, you know, you felt like cutting off somebody was like a part of you, like you cutting off a part of you, like you think you just resolve things by cutting stuff off, cutting people off, but that's like cutting off a part of you.
Yeah.
My first reaction was, well, I don't need it. Like, I don't really. Yeah. Do I really need it? It's more so the question.
Take the
like,
finger.
Well, do I really need that? I'm cutting
it
off.
Take the finger. I'm good on it. I got about 5 more.
If I'm even at the point where I gotta consider cutting it off, do I really need it? You was born with an appendix, but if something go bad with it, you gotta get that thing removed. You still gonna live.
Yeah, listen.
You can live with one kidney.
If God put it there.
But if it's bad for you and it's killing you and it's at the point of no return, you can get rid of a kidney. You can operate with one of them. You better take care of it, but you can operate with one of them.
Yeah.
I feel like listen, I feel like it's to a point you could resolve some things, but some things are beyond you. No matter, like, you don't like, in order for you to like operate in a place of not having tension, if that's your standard, you don't have to have it. Just because somebody else have tension with you, you don't have to have tension with them. Now y'all may have tension in your relationship because of them, because they don't want to move forward, or they don't want to let go, or they don't want to forgive, whatever. That's on them. But you can do that for yourself. I get it, but you know. I don't
believe that though, man. I think everything on earth falls under the scope of God's word, and He believes that it's possible. If anything is possible, it's possible. Now, when we say that, we really mean it's beyond the scope of our capacity to be able to handle. That's what it really is, because Like if it's really true that love is gonna win 9 times out of 10, that means we just ain't do it enough. You know what I mean? And I guess you also have to be somebody who wants the full you want the full experience of life. You know, because yeah, you could go without an appendix, but you got limits. You can't eat this and eat that. Like you can't. I don't know what an appendix do, but if you got one lung, you ain't performing like you performing with 2 lungs, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
You just not. You know what I'm saying? And if you just, you know, you gotta definitely establish if you somebody who want the full scope of life, and if that's the truth, then you can't go without. It's not how many things you can go without. Like if you're gonna have the full scope, then you're gonna have the full scope of everything. You know, and nothing is going to be outside of your reach. Like it's the perspective to me is I'm not going to go without that blessing. You know, the Bible also says honor thy mother and father. Like I could definitely be like, listen, God, can I still live without it? Cool, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But now you're getting denied blessings. You know, like E.T. was saying, like, bro, like I get into rums just based off me being with my wife for about whatever amount of years. Or you could trust this dude. He got stick-to-itiveness. He stick to it. He's somebody who like, I know he went through stuff with Didi. I know he did. You could tell Didi be sarcastic and she woo, and he still got past it. It's just like it really comes down to what kind of person you want to be and what level of life do you want to have. That's what it comes down to. You know, and no, it's not easy. And yes, you probably drive yourself crazy doing it. And yes, you're gonna look stupid doing it. Like, just look at me. I've been like, look at a lot of time. Like, you could point out the many times that I look stupid doing stuff. You know, that I was out on a limb and it was just me out there. You know what I'm saying? Like but I have a certain level of favor that not everybody have. Like I got favor with everybody. Mm-hmm. Like there's nobody who on this earth can say that they got beef with me legitimately, and they know me personally. Nobody. Last time I had beef with was a chick in high school. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But nowadays, bro, like I literally, there's nobody. I could walk this earth and be on good terms. I could walk in the middle of the street. I could go anywhere and have favor with anybody. I can go in any room in my family and be comfortable because I'm willing to resolve all them issues. You know, and that's not.
Yeah,
you know,
that sound good. I'm wrong. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You know, but nah, you know, I'm gonna keep it G with you because I feel like that, and I know other people feel like that. Now, I'm gonna also give you the other side of the coin. That ain't the way to go. That ain't the way to be. That ain't the way to feel. I just gotta keep it real because we come on here, we be like hella solution based. Yeah. But hell, I'm fighting demons too. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling how I'm feeling. I got some things that I'm still holding on to, and I got things that I realize that I'm holding on to that I didn't realize I was holding on to until that phone rung and the name popped up. Then it hit me like boom. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just, you know, it's a process. And so we talk about the tools, but you know what I'm saying? I am practicing and I am on a journey myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm on a journey myself, and the work that we do here, I'm in my word. And you know, I like to cause it's something that was thrown up to me. Is just like, you know, you're gonna preach it, walk by it. And one of the things I don't want to be is a contradiction. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be a contradiction, and I want to practice what I preach. So I do my best to mindfully hold myself, I don't want to say to the fire, but just hold myself accountable. You know what I'm saying? And I can say that the attitude that
with compassion.
With compassion, for sure. Mm-hmm. Because the attitude that I displayed in these last 10, 15 minutes, you know, it was intentional. It wasn't fake. It was intentional, you know, because generally I'll sit up here and I'll be like, yeah, Cole, you know, I think we should. But nah, because that's truly how I felt. And I wanted that to be seen because people really feel like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, Ultimately,
man.
I'm working on it, but I'm still feeling it at the same time. So
that's part of that self-love is being real with yourself, man, and accepting who you are at the moment, even if you feel like some people out here, bro, really feel like they're a monster, and they won't do it because they feel like they can't come back from that. But this guy, right, this dude, he was talking to his grandma, and he was like, "Grandma, God might love me, he might forgive me, but he ain't about to put me in no places to be able to talk to other people. Like, I ain't did too much." And his grandma was like, "Don't you ever be so conceited in your sin as to where you feel like you somebody who can't be forgiven." And I'm like, dang. Like, don't feel like you didn't just did so bad to where you can't never come back from that.
Yeah.
And on the other token, don't ever feel like somebody just did so bad to where they cannot come back from that, because like you, they are human. You know what I'm saying? And we all human. We all entitled. You entitled to a mess up. Like part of being human is messing up.
It's just,
you know what I'm saying? So you entitled to that, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just say, like, if that's something that you're committed to, you do have to turn off the faucet to the other side though. You feel like you about to lash out. Hey, I'm practicing this new thing right now. I was about to go off on you, but I don't do that no more. So I'm gonna step back right quick, and I'm gonna figure it out, and then I'm gonna come back and talk to you. Okay?
Who you about to go off on? You ain't about to go off on me.
I'm gonna leave. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you gotta do, like, do that, and it's gonna look ugly, but it look more ugly when you popping off. You know what I'm saying? When you go off, that's uglier. And somebody who a real one, I'm gonna recognize that. Like, most people, like, it'll be another thing, bro. We be in them environments. I ain't gonna drag this out too long, but we be in environments, and you gotta leave. We talk about this all the time. You trying to change, and people not. You gotta leave and bring it back. You gotta go somewhere to where people are actually loving, so you can get validation for who you trying to be.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's gonna validate you if nobody's doing that in that circle. So go somewhere where you're going to be validated in the person that you want to become, so you can, and be there long enough so you can actually become that person, and then go back to try to change what you're trying to change.
Yeah. That's the truth.
So don't get it twisted. Don't try to do it now with the habits that you got. Yeah. Like, cut the conversation off. I can't do this with you. And I'm not, just because I can't do it with you don't mean I'm going to use the hammer when there's a flathead screwdriver. You're just going to tear the screw up.
Yep. You got to go charge up. That's what Cole was saying. That's what I got from it. You gotta go charge up. Yep.
But yeah, man, that was a phenomenal conversation.
Oh yeah, man.
Approach that situation with love. I'm telling you. That life is so abundant.
Love take you a mighty long way, huh?
Yes, sir. Without further ado, too.
Well, without further ado, with the honors of the title of this conversation, where's the love? We just want to let y'all know that we genuinely love y'all. We genuinely love being here, and we love the growth that we get to do together, in pioneering this thing to where y'all can see us grow and mature as young men in real time, and then we can see y'all and experience the love and change with y'all, And y'all start to hear y'all testimonies as y'all watch ours manifest in real life in real time. But you already know what it is, so you gotta ask what it was. You can catch us here every single Friday, because it's Freewheel Friday, of course. Yeah. Cool. Let them people know they don't gotta just meet us here, but
beat us down. You heard me?
In the building every single time. We're gonna catch y'all again on the next one.